Hello everyone, welcome back to YK Reviews. Welcome back to another weekly entertainment news video. Tons to go over when we've got updates with the writer's strike, movies being delayed, a discussion about a trailer that got released, along with some updates when it comes to Thor 5. So let's dive into it here. Now, of course, if you are new to the channel, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button. We do these every single week along with movie reviews. I did a Lego speed build if you want to go check that out. And there's going to be another one coming to the channel too. I got the Wolverine Claw one, so keep an eye out on that. There's going to be a speed building for that one. It's going to be joining the rest of these. But as per usual, timestamps will be in the description down below. So if you want to go skip around, move to a new story that's more interesting for you, timestamps will be always in the description down below. Now, before we discuss anything else, I just want to quickly give a brief condolences to WWE Wrestler Bray Wyatt, who sadly passed away earlier on this week. Honestly, this news is still reeling for me, so I just wanted to give out huge condolences and prayers and thoughts to his family, to his brother, his father, his sister, and his children. One of my favorite six-man tag team matches was between the Wyatt family and the Shields. If you are a wrestling fan, you might know about that one. But I just wanted to just throw that out there, just huge condolences. But we'll get started too, and this is in terms of like video game news here. So we've got a rating when it comes to the SpiderMan 2 game, a game I'm so excited about and just waiting and counting down the days. But with SpiderMan 2, it's been rated T for teen, and this is the rating summary for the game itself. So it's an action game in which players assume the roles of Peter Parker and Miles Morales as Spider-Man as they attempt to save New York City from a new threat. From a third-person perspective, players fight crime, swinging around buildings and engaging in melee-style combat with the enemies. Characters mostly punch, kick, and throw each other during fights. And then as we continue here, cutscenes depict further instance of violence and blood. A character choked to death, a dead body turned over, blood drops on a leaf. In some crime missions, characters can be seen trading unnamed drugs for weapons. Drug packages can be seen in a car trunk, and the words prick and ass appear in the game as well. So one thing that really stood out to me was a character being choked to death. Really curious to see who that is. A lot of theories going around about Harry Osborn being the one that's dying. So it could be that he's going to be choked to death from Craven, or it's going to be Craven killing somebody else, and that's what gets Peter so angry, because we see that in the trailer. But then you've got the words prick and ass. For me, growing up in the UK, prick was seen as like a general term in the UK, as like a general language, so I'm not sure if that's really classified as like a bad word. Now we're getting it as a T for teen rating. So what are your thoughts about that? Let me know in the comment section down below what your theories are about who's going to be choked to death, and your thoughts are about the synopsis and the summary here. Let me know in the comment section down below. Now for the next news story, this is in terms of the trailer. Now the big trailer, the big talking point this week was of course Zack Snyder's rebelmoon project. A lot of getting the Dune Star Wars vibes to it. I did a shorts about that, I'll post that somewhere around here. But so far, I'm really liking the look and the tone of it. You can see a lot of like mannerisms from Zack Snyder in terms of like the slow motion aspects. To be honest with you, the teaser was about 4 minutes long. I'm guessing it's because it's like taking parts from like two parts of the movies. But I really am liking the look of it. I wish, like I mentioned in my shorts, that this could have been like a more theatrical release, because it's got that big screen vibes to it. But I really am liking like the lightsaber, like they made the lightsabers look so amazing. The fight sequences here. Still not 100% sure in terms of like what the story and the plot is going to be, but we got to take a look at some of like the action sequences, and also got confirmation here. So the first part, the one that's coming out in December of this year, is going to be called Child of Fire, and then part 2 is going to be coming out pretty much 5 months later, back in April 19th of 2024. This one's going to be called The Scargiver, and we got a couple of like shots of the trailer. So you got like these characters here, you got a better look at the world building that they're going to do. So I'm honestly really liking what we're seeing so far. I've been really excited about this. I'm really curious to see what Zack Snyder is going to present when it comes to this movie and when it comes to this universe, because it's one he's been present to Warner Brothers, but they declined, and he's been trying to do this for a long time, his version of Star Wars. So I'm really curious to see what the storyline is going to be and how it's going to be reviewed with people seeing it. In terms of the trailer, loved what I saw. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you've seen the trailer, what your thoughts are about it. Are you excited for the movie? Are you hesitant because of Zack Snyder's vision? Let me know in the comment section down below. Now, as we continue in terms of the Zack Snyder train, now this hasn't been officially confirmed. This is sort of just because he appeared and showed the rebelmoon trailer at the Gamescom event here that was taking place this week, and they asked him about Halo and Gears of War. He was asked what would make gaming properties great movies, while Zack Snyder responds, well, there's a lot. We've talked about a bunch of. Gears has always come up in sort of circles, he continued. I was always interested in the Halo franchise. They of course kind of made that, but it was something I always thought could be incredible. Now, he's been rumored to be directing the Gears of War movie, along with like Dave Bautista wanting to be part of the project too. So it does look like he is interested in making this movie. Now again, when this first rumored and first surfaced about having Netflix make a Gears of War movie, I have not played the game. I don't know anything about the franchise, to be completely honest with you. So I can't be the one to comment. But it would be curious to see how he would make this kind of movie, because honestly, Dave Bautista did a great job in Zack Snyder's Army of Dead movie, along with like Knock at the Cabin and other projects he's been part of. So I think he could be good in the Gears of War movie, based on just my brief knowledge of the video game itself. But Zack Snyder having the vision and directing this, I think it could work, just again based on like my brief knowledge of the video game itself. So for those of you Gears of War fans, Gears of War diehard fans, what are your thoughts about this? Do you think Dave Bautista would be great in the role? Would you consider Zack Snyder directing this movie? Let me know in the comment section down below. Now for the next news story, we've got an update in terms of Thor 5. Now this was released very early this week, and it's coming from the Screen Rant saying that Thor 5's new villain will be more powerful than Hela. Now Taika Waititi was asked about what would be next for the Thor franchise and the character himself in terms of the villains too, and he was saying here, what is left to do to him? It's got to be something that feels like it's carrying on with the evolution of the character, but still in a very fun way, and still giving him things to come up against that they feel like they're building on the obstacles that he has to overcome. I don't think we have a villain that's weaker than Hela. I feel like we need to step up from there and add a villain that's somehow more formidable. And he continued here, the director also revealed that there is one aspect that he thinks is more true to Thor than any other MCU character, and that the mythology that he originates from. He believes pitting Thor against more and more outlandish and crazy beasts, monsters and aliens as he continues in the MCU stays true to Thor in the comics and his mythological origins. And he continues here that Waititi believes that Thor's unique qualities make him more exciting to follow on his space adventures than human MCU characters, saying that there's a fun element to him and he has a casualness and a sort of or swagger about him when he visits these worlds and encounters these aliens that I don't think you'd get when it's an earthling traveling through space exploring the universe. Now, it hasn't been confirmed that he's going to be returning to direct Thor 5, and to be honest with you, based on like Love and Thunder, I really hope he doesn't return. I liked what he did in Ragnarok, but Thor Love and Thunder, I've tried to go back and rewatch it, but I can't go past 5 minutes of the movie. It's just so outlandish, so over the top, screaming goats. I just think that like that movie just was beyond redemption, and based on the quotes here, he wants to go from like a more outlandish, wacky villain as well. Like, I get that he wants to be more powerful than Hela, but I just don't think that's going to be the best direction, because it sounds like it's just going to go for more of a comedy route. Like, you had Christian Bale, Gore the God Butcher, in this movie, and he was so underutilized in Love and Thunder, which I just, like, you had Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher, and you butchered, no pun intended, him as a villain. So I don't know, I'm not excited if he returns for Thor 5. I really don't think I would be hyped for it. But what are your thoughts about this? Let me know in the comment section down below what your thoughts are about his comments about the villain and the route that Thor should go on. Do you want him to return for Thor 5? Let me know in the comment section down below. Now, one news story that did catch my attention here is for an upcoming project. This is from the director of Blue Beetle, Angel Manuel Soto. This is coming from the Hollywood Reporter, saying that Dave Bautista and Jason Momoa to team for the Wrecking Crew from Blue Beetle director Angel Manuel Soto. And so far from what we know from the movie, it's sort of a buddy comedy with other details being kept under wraps. Now, the two characters, Bautista and Jason Momoa, I'm really curious to see how this dynamic could work. It's like a buddy comedy. Aquaman teaming with Drax, think of it that way in terms of like the comedy aspect. With Dave Bautista, his latest couple of roles, he's been really impressing me with his character, with his acting range. While with Jason Momoa, his performance as Dante in Fast X, I really did enjoy his performance, so this could work really well. Granted, with the director, I've not seen Blue Beetle yet, and I know I was supposed to watch it, but my age is catching up to me, and I can't stay up past like 9 p.m, 10 p.m. I'm just falling asleep so early this week, so I don't know what's going on with me this week. So I was supposed to go watch it, but I just sort of fell asleep, and I just hadn't had a chance to go see it. Hopefully this weekend, so I can't really comment in terms of his directorial vision, but I've seen a lot of great things and heard a lot of great things about Blue Beetle. So I'm really curious about this project with all three of them working together. What your thoughts are about this? Let me know in the comment section down below. Would you be checking it out? Would you see this dynamic working? Let me know in the comment section down below. Okay, now for the next news story, we've got some very interesting updates when it comes to like the writer's strike. Okay, so earlier this week, both sides met with one another to discuss like proposals, and this is what was coming out here. So this is coming from the WGA contract website and from Film Updates over on Twitter, saying here, after 112 days of strikes, the WGA received an invitation to meet with Bob Iger, Donna Lange, Ted, David Zaslav and Carol under the pretense of further negotiations to end the strike. Instead, they were lectured about how good the AMPT, so the CEO's single and only counteroffer was in an attempt to get them to cave to the studio's demand. No counteroffer or further negotiations took place since then. Now again, this was very early in this week that they've announced this. So basically the CEOs are saying, why haven't you accepted our proposal, our one and only pathetic proposal? And nothing was done since then. However, as we continue throughout the week, it was even released and coming from the deadline in terms of like how much the studio it would cost them to meet the writer strikes, like what they're demanding basically. So if you look at it here, you can see the cost of the proposals. So when it comes to, for example, Disney, their annual revenue is $82 billion, Sony $88 billion, Warner Brothers $43 billion, Apple $394 billion, like ridiculous amounts. And it's showing here that the annual cost, if they were to meet the demands, for example Disney, it would only cost them 72 million, Netflix 65 million, Warner Brothers 45 million, Apple 17 million. So basically the cost percentage of the revenue, so like how much it would affect their revenue, would be so minimal. And it just goes to show that that these CEOs care so much about their pockets and how much money they're going to be making, that they are refusing to like see the minimal impact it would make just to meet the proposal of the writer's strike. And it's baffling to me because you have so much movies that have bombed in the box office these last couple of months, Flash, Dial of Destiny, amongst others, where their budget is so ridiculous. Like for example, Dial of Destiny, $295 million budget to make that movie, and it only cost Disney 72 million just to meet the demands and meet the proposal from the writer's strike. So really fascinating insight for it. Now as we continue throughout the week, you had two dickhead CEOs, Bob Iger in particular, come out, and he basically confirmed this. This is coming from All Your Screen, saying here that several sources have described Bob Iger as being personally offended by the unwillingness of the WGA to agree to the latest AMPT offer, while Netflix, Ted Sarandos, seemed to be concerned with agreeing to the terms that were used to set a precedent for other territories where Netflix has heavily invested in local production. The immediate concern would be the UK, where unions there are already making some noise about next year's negotiation, and there are similar future concerns in South Korea, India, and other APAC markets. So you've got this prick, Bob Iger, saying that he's offended about the WGA not accepting the proposal that they made, while he's sitting there making $25 million per year, and the Netflix CEO being worried that it's going to be affecting other countries, like the writers and stuff like that, which they should be getting paid, compensated fairly for this. So it's just, honestly, it's baffling to me, these thought process, these heads of these CEOs, only so money hungry. And because of this, we're going to continue on to the next news story. Because of this, they're going to be losing out on more money, because since nothing has been sorted out when it comes to like the strike and no updates, so this is going to continue further on, most likely till November, December, probably even till next year. Because of all of this, movies are being delayed. Now, one movie that was one of my most anticipated movie of the year, being Dune 2, has been delayed. Me seeing this was pretty much like this. This is coming from the deadline, confirming here that Dune Part 2 moves to 2024. The latest big pick to shift during the strike, Aquaman 2, Wonka and Color Purple, will stick to the 2023. So it's confirmed here that it's moving from November 3 to March 15th of 2024, which basically means that also Marvel's movie, it might be pushed to November 3, taking that IMAX screening, because they weren't going to get the IMAX screening because of Dune 2, and honestly, I would rather see Dune 2 in IMAX versus the Marvels, just because that vision, you have to see it on the big screen. But it just looks like now we have to wait a little bit more, which I'm really frustrated about. But as we continue here, that despite the rumors out there that Warner Brothers is further shaking up its December release calendar due to the strikes, the studio's current holiday tentpoles of Wonka, which is coming out December 15th, Aquaman coming out December 20th, and Color Purple December 25th will stick to their dates. Now for me, I'm not I feel like Wonka might be shifted, but because it has got that Christmas feeling to it, they might think that people will still go out and watch it. So I'm still 50-50 when it comes to Wonka. Aquaman, I just think that they want to get it out the way. Like, James Gunn just wants to end this DCEU universe that they're currently in right now, just so that they can start fresh. So no point delaying it. Just get this movie out the way. I think that they've given up with that movie, and it's just throw it out there, let the public see it, and then wrap up, let's start the new universe. I'm honestly not surprised they're not moving Aquaman 2. But this wasn't the only movie that got released here. So as we continue, it's showing here that Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire, has now been delayed till April 12th of 2024. So just a month, I believe, from its original release date. And then you've got Lord of the Rings, The War of Rohan, the animated movie, has now been delayed to December 13th of 2024. Now honestly, I wasn't aware of this project even existing, so I'm not sure when it was originally coming out, but that's going to be delayed now. So it's going to be really interesting to see, because essentially when it comes to like Dune, the March release schedule for next year now shows as on the 1st, you're going to have The Fall Guy with Elio. The 8th is going to have A Quiet Place Day 1 and Kung Fu Panda 4. On the 15th, you've got DunePart 2. On the 22nd, you've got Disney Snow White, which the less said about that, the better, I think. And then you've got on the 29th, Mickey 17th and the Ghostbuster Afterlife sequel. So March is going to be packed, and most likely there's going to be more movies also going to be released as well. So we're still not sure. And most likely, with the way this is going, maybe these movies might be delayed even further. But I'm honestly just gutted, because you even had, what's funny is that they announced that Dune Part 2 is going to be delayed, and then the very next day you've got the Empire magazine coming out for the movie Dune, where they releasing some cover art, which honestly I really like the look of the cover of Dune in the magazine. But it's just such a shame with this going on. It's just so easy to resolve, yet the CEOs are just so stuck in their way that I don't even think it's going to be resolved anytime soon. But I don't know, like, I've rambled on long enough when it comes to this. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section down below. What your thoughts are about the writers' strike going on, and like the CEOs and like the money aspect of it, and what your thoughts are about these movies being delayed, especially for Dune Part 2. Let me know in the comment section down below. But that about wraps it up for the weekly entertainment news video here. I want to thank you all so much for continuously coming back to watch this. For those of you that are new and do like this kind of stuff, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Definitely keep an eye out on the channel for that Lego speed build. That will definitely be coming to the channel this week or next week. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. This is YK Reviews. Peace.